Hi, and welcome along to the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by Kenya Airways, as I just said.
If you guys remember, Robbie and Cecil had the best travel experience with Kenya Airways back in May. I didn't get invited, but now you have the opportunity to experience true African hospitality as well. They're now flying into London Gatwick with 3 weekly flights every Monday, Thursday and Saturday. This is in addition to the daily flights to and from Heathrow, which means more flexibility for you, whether you prefer a morning or evening flight. KQ has you covered. And here's the best part. They're giving all AFTV fans 15% off all flights to, from London Gatwick or Heathrow to any KQ destination. Just use the promo code AFTV25 when booking your return for travel between now and November the 30th. This discount expires at the end of the month, so hit the link below and book your next adventure with Kenya Airways right away.
We've got Lee Judges in the building and Smarty Marty's in the building.
Looking smart as well, look at him there.
Man, I like that new tracksuit.
Thank you, mate. Thank you for your discount codes and, vouchers used,
Yeah, and you've got the white top as well underneath.
I have indeed, the old fur kit.
Spent a lot of money on the merch. Yeah, it's good. I got that. I had all that cost then.
Merchy Marty now, like, I mean, like.
Whole lot's about 160 quid, the whole lot. With all the vouchers and discount codes and, all that sort of stuff.
I like it.
It was right, wasn't it? It's comfy. Yeah, it's
There's us.
I see the boys from Bilbao are back in town.
Always from Bilbao. I like that. On that, right? You know what I mean? It's our last trip with Lee.
Oh yes.
So we're refusing to travel anywhere else with him, right?
What happened there?
It's enough. Is enough now, right?
Gone.
Singapore. Get off the flight. We're stuck for about a couple of hours because he fell sick, right, on that flight. Our people, before you have sympathy with him on for that trip, right? It was down to the amount of champagnes he drunk in the lounge before the trip, right? So there was that one.
In the lounge, yeah?
Yeah, right. And then on this one now, gets back, we get off the flight, we've gone through, who's forgotten their phone on the plane, right? Mr. Lee Judges, right? And how long did it take you to get that back?
That 2.5 hours. Fantastic. Well, wasn't that, we better not mention you. Like,
do you suggesting a little substitution for a wake?
Well, listen, you're more than welcome to go with him myself, like, you know what I mean? He's a bully. You know what I mean? Like.
Then there was also the time when you lost your passport. Remember that one?
I lose your passport. I left my passport in the hotel. Yeah.
I think I've got a valid reason here.
Yeah. So I've been fortunate on that one. I left my passport in the hotel, and luckily a fella called Hitz was still in Lisbon and managed to get me a passport back to the airport. Otherwise I'd have missed the flights and everything, so I was lucky on that one. And this one, it was just slipped out of my pocket as I was getting up, like. And by the way, Robbie was, if I was in my normal seat I would have been all right, like, because I've been told to move seats.
You got zips on did you have zips on the pockets?
Whose side are you on, mate?
Thank you, Marty. Thanks, Marty. You know what I mean? He's trying to blame me. You know what I mean? You could have put it into your pocket.
I think I ain't ever seen that for shit. I think she's gone out of it.
Yeah.
I've gone past it. Ain't my phone, is it?
I've got to say that the girls and all that were fantastic. And I managed to retrieve it. But what a worry. And I had to sit around in the airport for about 2 because it's not so much getting it's the protocols of getting the phone back. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
that's without having your whole entire life on one device.
There was a moment from when I lost it to make the phone call. It must have been about 20 minutes. When you think about it, I ain't got all those details of the flight are on the phone. Luckily, Robbie and Cecil were still there because they could get all the details, and then I runs to the place we know where they are. And from that moment on, they got on the phone and they found it. Once they found it, I knew I had it back. You know what I mean? It was just getting it back, like the time then, like. But for that window there, I was a bit It is incredible. I'm not the only one that's done that, like, you know.
Well, I ain't done it. The thing is,
What about your earpods? You left them on the plane.
I did, like...
There we go.
I did, but immediately getting off the plane, right, I realised that and was able to go back and get it within about 10 minutes, right? So, you know, listen, losing your phone's an absolute nightmare because all your numbers are on it.
Yeah.
You don't know people's... Like, I don't know... Listen, I speak to you all the time, but I don't know your number.
No.
I speak to you all the time. I don't know your number. I just got Marty.
Yeah.
Lee.
I've got Spy.
What might you stored in your phone as?
Huh?
What might you stored in your phone as?
Smarty Marty.
So yeah, that's the thing. You don't even know people's numbers or anything. Honestly, losing your phone's an absolute nightmare. But the best part about the trip is that we got the 3 points, and it was a good trip, Lee. I really enjoyed Bilbao. Big up to Bilbao, right? What a great place to go and watch football, right? Great stadium, great atmosphere in the stadium. The fans from Bilbao, real credit.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, you know, like they were out in forces, 55 or 51,000 sold out stadium, every single one of them with a shirt on, every one of them up for it. You know what I mean? A real mixed fan base as well. Like lots of women, families go there, but the atmosphere, absolutely cracking. No trouble, no bad vibes, just great fans, great football, a great club with a great history. You know what I mean? Remember, all their players have to come from that area to play for them. I just liked everything about Bilbao. I always thought it was, they're a real credit to football. You know, Lees, a lot of times you go to some European games, right? Like, you know, you got to be busting from the city centre because if you don't, you know what I mean, there's going to be gangs waiting for you and all this sort of stuff. But that there, for me, is how football in the modern era should be in Bilbao. I don't know if you felt that, but that's how I felt before we even get into the game.
It was one of the best experiences, like, you know what I mean? As you say, there's some places, not mentioning the countries and all that, where you can't go in certain zones and certain places in the, you could walk around freely with your Arsenal shirt on and all that, like walking past these bars and all that. Never felt intimidated. You said I was shaking around, good luck today and all that. And even on the way out, you know what I mean? Like they're going, well done and everything. We went in that bar afterwards, like, you know, watching the football, and the Arsenal game come on and the owner went to turn it off.
Yeah, pretended to turn the TV off. You know, turn off the highlights.
Brilliant banter and everything like that. And it was, you know, every single fan that went to that game had a Bilbao shirt on, didn't they? It was all red and white. And when you got into the ground, the atmosphere, we weren't hostile, was it? Like, not just electric.
Yeah.
It was. I was looking around. It was really, really good. And, you know, I don't think people appreciate how difficult that is to get that quietened. And Arsenal's done that. But, like, you know, absolutely, like, it's different to Spain. Someone said to me like that, you'd feel like it's not like you're in Spain, because we've all been to Spain, know what it's like. It's a little bit different in it because it's the best country and everything like that, but so friendly. It was a brilliant trip.
It was their credit. And listen, you know, they made it really difficult for us, Bilbao on the pitch. They really did remind me of their style of play of like playing another Premier League team. They were very physical, you know, got bodies behind the ball, but then counter-attacked, you know, with pace. But Arsenal's defence, yet again, Marty, you know, that defence is very hard to breach. Timber, Mosquera, Gabriel, Calafiori, they were solid at the back. We didn't really give them a sniff, even though they were, you know, they were huffing and puffing. And then later on in the game, you know what I mean, the finishers, as Mikel Arteta came on and finished it. What did you make of it? You was back in the studio. What did you make?
Looking after everything while you boys were away having the time of your lives. Look, making sure everything's all right, you know, making sure everything's all put together right. But yeah, no, don't worry, we were fine. No, so we were obviously on the watch along, and I said this when it started. Like the one thing I noticed, and obviously you guys obviously know when doing the watch along, there's no sound. All we could see was them waving their scarves on literally red and white shirts. And it looked like, you know, over 50,000, 53,000 seat. Just, I love that vibe. You know, you get it sometimes at the Emirates and you get it at football stadiums, this raucous atmosphere that just goes through your body. And that's what it looked like. And then when I watched it back on TV, I heard, you know, what I expected to sort of hear. And it must have been great. And, a great win, I say a very good win away to a hostile, what looked like a hostile place. And looked like a fantastic stadium. And they were, for the first 15 minutes, we looked very disjointed. And it was after 65 minutes that, we got the goal. And then late on, we got the second goal and got the job done. I think it was a really good win. And I think the statistic is something like we've conceded 18 goals in 23 matches. And we've got 11 clean sheets in Europe, which is a phenomenal record. And that back line, when you think Christian Mosquera's come in, and what a player. I mean, it's only been a few games, but what I'm seeing for this guy to just fill in with consummate ease for William Saliba. Every time I watch him, he amazes me that he's just doing this job, because you'd expect for the money we'd paid for him, and that just why I keep on going on about that there would be, but I haven't seen anything in him yet that I don't like at all. I really like him. I want to see more of him. I think he, what he adds to the side, and to be able to not worry about William Saliba being injured is nuts. That's, as an Arsenal fan, that's a crazy statement, because William Saliba for seasons has been like, I remember, I think it was the beginning of this transfer window, there was rumours about Real Madrid, and like, as an Arsenal fan, I was like, if this guy goes to Real Madrid, how are you going to replace him? But I mean, like, I'm not saying, yeah. But look, great win. I was buzzing at the win. I love these Champions League nights. And when you look in and around the competition as well at the other results, that's a solid 2-0. No goals conceded. And we got 2 goals. However we got them, 2 players, well, one certainly in Martinelli that's been in for quite a bit of criticism from Arsenal fans and the press as well. And he come on and he done a job, and they both combined fantastically. I love that run and that ball that gets played over from Trossard, how Martinelli sort of juggles it past the defender to get the ball in front of him, so then he can run onto it and then he can finish it. And then people are like, well, the finish wasn't good. The keeper should have done better. A keeper of that quality and that level should do better, but he didn't. And the ball was in the back of the net. And then with the second goal, I loved that little Trossard. You see how he flicked his leg around before he stuck it in the net. And we've all been critical of Martinelli not beating his man, but boy, he beat his man, cut inside, put the ball to him, and again the ball was in the back of the net, finishes it off.
Yeah, no, it's great. A very professional away win. You're going away to Bilbao. You said a hostile atmosphere on your first European game. It's a lot of similarities to Arsenal's first game in the Champions League last year, where they had a tricky little game away to Atalanta. You know what I mean? We were also playing in the Champions League sort of for the first time, and, fans were right up for it. And that was a draw, that game. But to get off to a winning start away from home, you know what I mean? They say in this competition, if you win your home games and, nick a couple away, you're going to be all right. I mean, it's a great start for Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great start. And I've seen a little bit of criticism online and all that, like, about the performance and whatever. I didn't see it like that. I see it as a really good performance. I look at that midfield, and I wouldn't want to see that Sunday, and I didn't want to see it at Liverpool. Like, I mean, it's a different, but the European football's a different game. It's not about, it's about getting through. Even in two-legged affairs, it's about getting the job done away from home and winning. I tell you what, after the Liverpool game yesterday, showed the miracle of Istanbul, right? And I didn't realise this, but they drew 0-0 away to Juventus and 0-0 away to Chelsea in the 2 knockout stages. Like, no one talks about that. It's the Mac-Nielsen thing, but that's what you have to do. You have to go and be defensive. So I don't mind seeing those defensive.
It's a cup competition.
See that? Yeah,
it's a different. I
don't want to see that in the league.
It's a lot different to the league, right?
Yeah, and I think we've got to get our heads around.
And it's the margins, right? Because had against Liverpool, say, a couple of players come on and done what happened the other night, we'd have been lording that up as well. It's different tactics for different games. But to me, when you go away in Europe, you've got to be a bit resolute, and it didn't surprise me. We was doing the starting 11 the day before, and I actually got the lineup spot on, because I thought he'd play Marino for the fact that Marino is Spanish.
You did say that, yeah.
I think those things go a long way. Marino's used to playing at that stadium. He would have done it many a time. Same with Zubimendi, same with Mosquera. They're not going to be intimidated by that. That's not a new environment for them. They're Spanish players. They're used to playing there, right? So that's why I thought you'd go for him and not Ranieri. And also, you know, he's been doing pretty well for Spain recently, so it didn't surprise me, the lineup. And I thought that, you know, we defended. I thought it was a good performance. As far as Europe is concerned, I thought it was a good performance.
Yes, so
resolute. You don't really give, because let's be real, right? Ray hardly had anything to do in that game. So resolute, you don't give a lot away, and then you wait for your moments. And, you know, I'm going to claim it, right? Yeah. I said to Cecil, just before the substitutions was being made, I said to Cecil, you know what I do now, Cecil? I get Eze off, because he's been a bit quiet this game. I take Eze off, get Martinelli on, man. He's pacing behind. I reckon, you know, players are getting a bit tired and that. I reckon he could do so. I mean, I didn't know he'd do it so quick. Literally 36 seconds later, he's on the pitch, he's scoring. He has the assists, great assists as well. Like you said, Marty, we moan about him not beating players. He beat the defender, all ends up, and had a great end product to cut back. And that's it, game done. And Mikel Arteta spoke after the game about finishers, which is something that features a lot in sports like rugby and cricket, where you have a player. In cricket, you'll have a player that's sort of lower down the order. He's a really good player. He could probably start, he could probably open the batting, he could probably bat number 3, but they'll put him down the order, like 5, 6, saying, right, if this game's getting tight, we're sending him on to crash some sixes and stuff like that. The same thing they do in rugby. In rugby, they've got bigger squads. They might have players that will say, right, we'll bring him on later on because he's quick. When, players are tired and that, we're seeing this a lot more in football now as well. And Mikel Arteta spoke about this. He's saying, listen, I don't class these players as being subs. They've got a very important role to play. They're finishers. They're going to be players that are going to come on later on in games, like a Martinelli, in this case, where defenders are starting to get tired. They can do damage with their pace and their directness, and it worked, Lee, didn't it?
Yeah, it does work. I don't believe everything Mikel says. In fact, there's things to sort, like, you know, because Martinelli's been on the bench the last couple of games and not got on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like when it mattered on Tuesday night, he come on, and you know, listen. What's the greatest thing for me is that they've all got a role to play, whether it's starting or not. There's going to be games when Martinelli's going to start, and there's going to be games when he's not. And what you've got to do is produce whatever way it is. And that's what he's done, like, you know. And it is amazing what confidence does. And I think when you look back at, we was talking about this yesterday, like with a couple of my mates, because he comes on with that and scores within 30 seconds, that makes that game that little bit more spectacular. It makes it spectacular in the stands, isn't it, with the song and everything after that. It was such a moment that he's walked on the pitch and was first touch he scored. It just made the game that little bit more. But that's what he's got to... Listen, Trossard's been doing that for a long while now. They've been coming on and making things. We need that from more. But the fact of the matter is now, last season it was Martinelli and Trossard. Now we've got it all over the pitch, you know what I mean? So, and there's competition all over the pitch now, like, you know. And I think for Martinelli and Trossard, they've been at it. Them two have been going at it the last couple of seasons, where you have a look over there hasn't been that competition. And then they must have been sitting in there. Now they've got Eze. And they're going, you know what I mean? Like, but now all of a sudden, you know, now you've got like Maduoki, who's causing all sorts of, like, you know, even I think we're all saying now that if Saka does play on, or he's available on Sunday, and we prefer him to be on the bench to come on, like, you know what I mean? These players would be going, oh, got to get him back in the team straight away and all that, like, you know. And yeah, listen, the finishes and all that, like, because he says that now, do you see the criticism that he's got because of that straight away, like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, you know.
I think it's a great point that he makes, right? And he's not the first. He's not the first manager, by the way, who's mentioned that, you know, that word, a finisher, right? Pep said about it before. Other managers have spoken about it. I think Luis Enrique's spoken about it before. Players that can come off the bench and make an impact. We know Trossard can do that.
Yeah.
And this all goes down to the squad depth, which at the moment looks pretty unbelievable for Arsenal, right? And that, you know, we had a game, Marty, right?
Yeah.
No Saka, no Saliba. no Havertz, right? No Odegaard, right? I mean, those are 4 absolute key players. That if last season, one of them missing, let alone all 4, we'd be like, oh my days.
And now,
The thing is, all of them missing, nobody walking to that game was like worried and moaning and groaning about those players missing because of the squad depth. No Ben White, I missed him out. Absolute key player he's been for Arsenal. No Ben White, right? And yet still, Arsenal, the players that come in can put in a performance like that. I mean, that's looking really good at me.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, when this team was announced, the only difference from the Liverpool game, essentially being set up, was obviously Mascara, but we knew he was in, but he played from the 3rd minute. And then Eze being on the pitch. And people say, oh, you're set up defensively not to lose it. Well, you certainly don't want to lose the game within the first 30 minutes and go 2-0 down. You're going away from home in the Champions League. It's your first game. European football is different from Premier League football. You don't want to go there and concede early or silly, sloppy goals. You want to have your best side out. And this is where I agree with Mourinho starting, because no disrespect to Ranieri, but Mourinho's been in the Euro finals. He's been around. He's got the experience. The experience is a lot. Does Ranieri need to get this experience? 100%. Sitting on the bench, being around, and then maybe potentially coming on in these games, he'll get the experience. But even that, you look at this young squad that we've got. One thing that I did see, that I think a season or 2 ago, we had one of the youngest squads in the Premier League. They're starting to look very matured. Really, really matured, like, some really quality operators. And when you look at the likes of Jurian Timber in the side, and, we bought on in the last minute, literally Hincapie.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, he just looks like a really good quality player that's going to add the depth that we've got through this whole team. The only situation I think is potentially, Gyökeres getting that head knock, with Gabby, the last person you'd want to stick the nut on you is in the whole Arsenal team is Big Gabby, and that was maybe a slight concern, because for me after that he waned and he wasn't quite a race, which is completely understandable. But then, as Martinelli's shown, he can, got essentially sort of stuck in that 9, and that's where the goal came from.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the squad depth really is looking really, really good. Does this squad depth allow us to fight on all fronts this season?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I'm fascinated come Wednesday night to see what actual team that he's going to play, because you look at it like Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't hardly played, but, is he going to play left back, or is he going to play in midfield in that game? Like,
Which game are you talking? Port Vale?
Port Vale, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so there's that. So every game now you go to is an interesting, like last season, starting 11 and when we was doing that, like you basically knew 8 of them or 9 of them. You don't know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? I don't know who's going to play at the back on.
Well, let me ask you that question. I want to ask both of you that question. Who, if Saliba was back in the squad, after his injury, he was on the bench. Sunday, Manchester City come to the Emirates with the best striker in the world playing for them in Erling Haaland. Do you go with Saliba? Do you bring him back into the team? Or do you stick with Mascara, who's been absolutely brilliant since, he's come in? What would you do, Lee?
It's a tough one. Do I said after the game that I would stick with Mascara in there. I thought he was Mascara. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Coming away from it now, I think it really depends on how Saliba trains in the next 2 days. He's got to really train and prove himself that he's ready for the game. I thought he would have had some sort of minutes on Tuesday, but he didn't.
So you go with then?
It's a real fit. I'm sticking with the same Mascara.
Okay.
And the reason being because it's 3 weeks to the day that he hasn't played. He's not played for 3 weeks now.
He came off a Liverpool game, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit. to throw him in there, all right, would be. But listen, a year ago wouldn't even be thinking that he'd be.
Well, he'd been playing the other night.
He'd have been playing the other night as well,
because he would have been like,
Yeah.
you might be 80% or whatever.
Right.
You're playing. I mean, Marty, what would you do?
Look, personally,
Sunday.
I would go. The reason why I go with Mosquera is one.
you go as well.
The reason why he hasn't put a foot wrong, so I don't believe he deserves to get just dropped. If he conceded one goal, or even if he conceded, he hasn't conceded. That back line have not conceded a goal apart from that free kick. Okay, at Liverpool, which I don't. You can't put that. There's not any goals from open play, so I think that's a fair comment. And also, you don't want to rush Saliba back. What you don't want to do is, while we have got Mosquera and Mosquera's fit and he's ready to go, what you don't want to do is get Saliba on the pitch and then Erling Haaland steams into him and then he's out for 6 months because he tears a ligament in his ankle or something. I don't know. Or listen, there is that aggravating the injury. Like you say, I'm not saying I'll rest him for the rest of his life. There's got to be some sort of balance, but maybe play Saliba at Port Vale to give him some minutes and then bring him off after 60 minutes. I don't know with the injury. One thing I do know about ankle injuries is they're not always nice. And, to be out for 3 weeks suggests it's not just he's been out for a week with a knock. It's a bit more serious than that. So
I'm bringing Saliba back.
Okay.
I'm bringing Saliba back as well as Mosquera's done. And you're right. You guys made valid arguments. He's been absolutely brilliant since he's come in. Like you said, he hasn't put a foot wrong. Nothing he could do about the Szoboszlai free kick. He came in under all that pressure at Anfield. It was magnificent. Great the other night. Great, in the league game. Been fantastic. But William Saliba, to me, is a world-class centre-back, right? If he's fit, he's had it long enough now to recover from that. And to me, it's Erling Haaland, right? That's what we have to remember. Erling Haaland is the ultimate test for any centre-backs. And that combination of Saliba and Gabriel have dealt with Erling Haaland pretty well in recent times, and even then he still scored because he still scored last year at the Etihad.
Yeah.
I just feel that, like, for that game now, you get him back in. I play Mosquera probably against Port Vale, and then the other thing I think, the other reason why I'd start Saliba is this as well, right? Is that Ben White was out the other night, so we don't know if he's going to be fit for the game, right? That then gives you a problem that if you need to replace somebody at right back as well, right, which we've seen Mosquera play there as well, look very well, very good there as well, right? So if Timber's getting a bit fatigued, which he was starting to the other night, he was getting a little bit fatigued on that right-hand side, you know that Mosquera could come on and play as a right back if we needed to sort of maybe even secure that game or shore the game up. So I get Saliba back in. I think he's had enough time now to get over this injury, the fact that he was on the bench. I'm not. If Mosquera plays, I'm cool with that. But I'd get Saliba back in. He also, there's another reason for it as well, right? He also still ain't signed that new deal yet, right? And they're negotiating that at the moment. We don't want him thinking that, actually, mate, we've got a new guy here. You get him back in, get him playing, because we do need Saliba, sign that new deal. But what is amazing at the moment is that these players that have come in, whether it be Mosquera, whether it be Madueke, whether it be Wanyeri, I think they've done brilliantly. They've come in for big, big players, and they've made it that we've not missed any of them.
Yeah,
so me to be turning around and saying the two players in particular, Saliba and Saka, to say that they've not really been missed. I mean, I just don't. I would just not have been saying that over the last few seasons.
That's a massive compliment.
I would be fretting with those two missing. And Madueke, again, I think Lee made some valid points the other night when he said his end product could have been a bit better. Lee was right there. But he was terrorising their fullback. He was excellent. He was excellent. I do want him to work a little bit more on the end product. But if he can get that together, I mean, and again, if you've got him coming off the bench and you're a defender,
after 60 minutes.
You don't want him running at you, and I mean, he's looked really good.
The other thing at the moment is that for the next couple of games, and there is rumours that Saka could be available for this game, is that Saka will be doing it, coming off the bench in the last 20 minutes. You know,
You don't have to rush him back.
You don't have to rush him back. Like this game, if there was because they actually sort of said, rumours were that he could be back for this game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this was the game, but like, we'd be all going, he's got to start. They'd be going, now we're all relaxed about it, saying, like, come on 20 minutes from the end. And I'll be really honest, if he's not needed, then don't play him. Like,
And if he comes in now and comes back, he's on his toes a bit.
Yeah, he's got to perform.
Right? I mean, last season he had Raheem Sterling there. He knows that as long as he's fit,
He's going to play.
he's got a full 90 every single game, right? Unless he wants to come off or anything. He now knows he's got to be on his toes because the guy that's in behind him, not only after his place in the Premier League, he's after his place internationally as well. I mean, you can't get better competition than that. The two players that are vying for the same position for club and country. It's a perfect scenario, really, for Mikel Arteta.
And this is how you win titles, is by having that level of depth in these areas where you can, after 60 minutes, if something ain't working out, you don't have to flog the same team for 90 minutes or 80 minutes and you might not be getting result. Imagine that after 60 minutes, it's 0-0 still. Look, it happened the other night. You bring in Martinelli, Trossard, and then with Saka fit, those sorts of options, the depth in gone.
Yeah, but can you also get carried away, right, when you've got so much squad depth with too much rotation? I heard Julian the other night, which I thought the other, before the day before the game, I was like, bro, you're the amount of changes he was proposing, I was like, no, because like you're disrespecting the opposition now. You're proposing to change. Now, you could have made all those changes because of the squad depth, but could that become a problem for Mikel Arteta now? Where there's too much rotation.
Thank God Mikel ain't listening to Julian. And we don't listen to Julian about things like that, like, you know what I mean? And he don't even drink. What?
Point though, you can have too much rotation as well. Remember the Tinker Man days?
Ranieri.
And I think at the end of the day, Mikel's done it very, very cleverly at the moment. It's just one or two. It's just tinkering. He's just changing one or two. And I think like there'd be one or two. I think there might be a couple of changes on Sunday. And then on Wednesday, wholesale changes against Port Vale. But the good thing about Mikel now is that when we played PSG last season in the semi-final of the Champions League, he looks on his bench. He's got 4 kids on there that have never played for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. He's now looking on the bench. Norgard's come on and done really well as well. Like, you know what I mean? He's actually like having to leave good players not getting no minutes whatsoever. Like, as we said, Martinelli earlier on, like, you know what I mean? But so he's got options and he's got like he's got those options now. As you say, right, you mentioned it yesterday, Rob, that 5 players weren't available. Well, 4 of them, because Saliba was on the bench. But look at the bench, you know what I mean? Like, there's players now are going to look at the team sheet and they're not going to even be on the
You're not even going to be on the
squad.
bench. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If everybody's fit, that's going to be a difficult thing. But what I think has been our downfall over the last couple of seasons has been squad depth. We haven't had the squad to cope with injuries or fatigue. We haven't got that now, so he's going to have to manage it and manage it properly. And 1 or 2 here and there. Listen, when have we been able to rest Declan Rice in a Premier League game?
Yeah, it's true.
We've done it and won 3-0. You know what I mean? So that's the level of confidence that we've got now.
Not only that, the resting of Declan Rice, what made it even more significant, right, is the fact that he had all those injuries to them other key players, but still felt that he could rest Declan Rice. Because normally you say to yourself, it's too many Odegaard's not there, Saka's not there, no, so I can't leave out Declan Rice as well. That's mad.
I did.
He did.
He even left Saliba out of the whole squad on Nottingham Forest game. Didn't even put him on the bench, you know what I mean? Have a couple more days training. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that were not, I guarantee you, maybe a year ago, Saliba would have played against Forest.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
Yeah.
And he would have played on Wednesday night and then played on Sunday. And then, And the other good thing about this, and I was talking about this on Forever, today, Van Dijk he's having to play every game. You know what I mean? Because they haven't got that depth that they've got.
Gabriel last year played every game.
And then what happened to him at the end?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
He was even playing in Carabao Cup games. He was playing in everything.
yeah, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, eventually, what we want, the scenario we want, is come March, all these players are fresh and available going into that final part of the season. I don't think we've had that.
Yeah, well, essentially, if you look at all the players that are injured with sort of long-term injuries, your Kai Havertz's, your Ben White's, you know, Saliba picking up a knock, Saka picking up a, you know, and even Odegaard. These are all players that had to play for us last season. They had to, because there wasn't any other option.
Yeah.
You know, and now they're suffering through being redlined because there was no other options. But now, even with those guys, it's like you said, that's the point, is when all these guys are fit. So when Jesus is fit, you know, like, how do you get them all in a match day squad?
You can't.
No, you can't. You can't physically.
Some are going to have to be left out completely. But listen, as long as those players understand what's going on, which I think they do, they understand what he's trying to do this season. They understand the squad depth, and it's going to be very important. And the thing is, right, the team that we play at the weekend is a team over the years that's been known for their ultimate squad depth, which is Manchester City. They probably don't have the squad depth that we have. Now, how are you guys feeling about this game? Last year at home, we absolutely destroyed them. That was one of our best performances, if not the best Premier League performance last season when we played Manchester City at home. But they were in quite a bad place. They had a really good win over Manchester United, absolutely cruised to that derby win over them. And they got Haaland still. He's still, for me, the best striker around. He scored 5, for Norway the other day. They scored 2 last weekend. I mean, he's going to be a problem. Manchester City at home, it's a huge game for Arsenal. We've had when you've looked at the game, it's been a tough start for Arsenal. Apart from the Liverpool game, we've negotiated it quite well. Are you confident we can get a win over Man City, Lee?
Yeah, I am. But this is, for me, where this game will tell me everything about Mikel Arteta. If he's going to win us the league or not. And I'll tell you why, because I believe that come Sunday, Liverpool will be 6 points above us, 9 points above Man City.
They've got Everton, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got them on Saturday. So, if he plays at midfield, the 3 in there, Arsenal won't win the league. Because
so you're on about midfield we saw the other night.
Yeah, I think it's a negative midfield. It's a midfield where I think, I don't want to lose this game and all that. And I think if you're going to go and take Liverpool, you've got to do something, but you've got to be a little bit more brave. To get over the line a bit. Champions League, different scenario. I'm talking about the league now. I want to see us go there and go, do you know what? I don't care that they're 6 points above us at this moment in time. I'm backing my attacking options and my team. We're going to go there and we're going to take it to Manchester City and we're going to beat it.
Well, it's at home.
And it's at home. Yeah. A different scenario away from home. I see a team being picked at Liverpool where I felt like I don't want to lose this game rather than win it. When we're at home, I want to see us picking a team that's going to say, we are going to win this game, not we're not going to lose this game. And I think that's very, very important.
What about you? I mean, even last year, we sort of built it quite defensive foundations and there's counter-attacks on them every time and just like absolutely took them apart in the end.
I think, look, they've got to try and score a goal past us. Like, we ain't conceded a goal in open play, and that's how they concede a lot of their goals. Look, don't underestimate City. They are, they can really hurt you really badly. But that game against Manchester United were very, very disjointed. There were holes all over that midfield. We all know Amarin's been completely stubborn. They only look good when they brought on Kobbie Mainoo and when Ugarte was sat there. And Mainoo and Fernandes were both in the 8 either side of each other. They missed for me quite a few chances. Winders missed a sitter, Haaland missed a few. They should have been more clinical, and it could have been 5 or 6, but it wasn't. I do generally completely back Arsenal at the Emirates. We all know what these occasions are like at the Emirates. The atmosphere is unbelievable. It's electric. And we're playing really well. We've got the depth. I'm going into all of these games this season. Until Arsenal Football Club this season give me reason to doubt them, I'm not going to, because everything I've seen this season, I really, really like.
Have you seen the right attacking intent, though?
Who, Arsenal's?
Right?
Yeah.
When they play, like Lee makes the point, that game against Liverpool was very, very defensive. Didn't really, really have a go.
Just quickly on that. Just quickly on that. Sorry, the only thing that I think in that Liverpool game is I would have changed Martinelli for Eze, and then probably, and then potentially if Eze had to come off later, then changed him for Martinelli.
I look back at the Liverpool game and watched Liverpool again last night. Complete and utter mistake by Mikel. Let's get that right. They were there. Like Atletico Madrid attacked them.
They won last night. Right?
They did win in the end. They've won every game. Like they've won 4 out of their 5 games for 90-minute goals. You know what I mean? Like I felt that was a negative move by Arteta. I never. You know what I mean? We're now chasing them because of negativity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, if he'd have got the job done and I don't think we're at home. If he goes with that 3 in midfield, I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah, I want to see. I think there has to be a mixture. You can't go gun-ho against Manchester City because we know that Man City, no matter what, they're going to be on the front foot. That's how they play, of course, right? So you can't go gun-ho against them. But I agree with Lee. There has to be a bit of creativity in that midfield to create for Madueke or Saka, whoever plays, for Gyökeres, for Eze. You know what I mean? Because I think with City, what I've seen of them this season, they're vulnerable at the back. They've still got that attacking intent.
Yeah.
I thought in the last game, Doku was really dangerous. He's probably, Haaland got the goals, but he was the danger. Doku. And Haaland, he's clinical. If you give him chances, he'll score, right? But when I looked in that game, and I've looked at a lot of the other games, and the Brighton game and other games as well. Remember, they've lost 2 games this season, right?
Spurs run all over them.
They look vulnerable at the back. So I'm a bit with Lee here, where I'd be disappointed if we went too negative, because I think if you can create chances against them, and I don't think defensively they're as good as Arsenal. No chance. And we got, they've got a new goalkeeper in Donnarumma, who's a world-class goalkeeper, but he's always been a bit questionable with, he's playing out from the back, and he's got to get used to a new back four and that. I really want Arsenal to be on the front foot, press them, and really test that defence, because I think at the moment, especially this early in the season, they can, I think they will improve. But I think both on the midfield and that defence, I think you can get stuck into City. And
what's your midfield then? Come on, like the player. What's your
my midfield? It depends. Like if
Odegaard's 100%,
if Odegaard's fit, I bring him back in.
Right. All right.
If Odegaard's
not fit,
if Odegaard's not fit, I'm bringing Wanyeri.
Really?
Yeah, I'm bringing Wanyeri, man, because I just think you've got Zubimendi, you've got Rice there, right? You got your base there. I think Wanyeri, I like the way Wanyeri will pick the ball up and drive as well. So that's another runner in midfield, right? So you got Wanyeri, then you got your Eze's, Madueke. You got a lot of ball carrying players there that will cause problems to Man City's defence. So I wouldn't
put Eze in there, no?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Do you not move Eze? So
I think I keep Eze out on that left-hand side, because I just think they're vulnerable the fullbacks are vulnerable. And I think with Eze, with his bag of tricks, his little movements and stuff like that, and you've got Madueke over on the other side with similar, I think they'll create problems. That's what I...
Or do you not, like you said, you don't want, you don't...
What's the midfield three? That's what I want to know. Come on, stall him.
Definitely Zubimendi and Rice. You start with that. Now, look, do you start with Marine? Look, one thing you don't...
No, that's all he's asking, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
And if you do, you want to be happy with that?
Because what I see with that, it's not playing negatively, it's playing sensibly. You know, you don't want to concede goals early. You don't. That's why we're not conceding goals.
You've got a back four of quality.
No, I get that. I do get that. But there's a level of control to the game. This is the thing with Mourinho where I kind of, you know, I'm not saying he's my favourite player of all time, but one thing I do like about that, he offers us a level of control where we're not conceding goals. And then later on in the games, when teams are higher, when teams time, then you can dream.
Same with Leon.
I'm not having that because eventually you're going to drop points like that.
I get that.
We're at home, right? I want to win that game. I think City, right? You know, I think we can beat City at home. Oh, we beat them last year and the year before, actually. But I think we can beat City at home. I think it'll be a bit of trepidation.
He's got to go with this against. We've got Newcastle the following week.
And I think, yeah, sensible. But you got enough players in that team to be that defence is good. Whether it be Saliba or Mosquera, Timber, these guys are solid. And add into that the fact that we got a bit of advantage in this game. You know, we played on Tuesday; they've had to play on Thursday, right? So to me, I want to see Arsenal. With a lot of, you know, I want to.
Tell me everything. I'll say that now. Even if we win with Mourinho, and listen, I'm not against Mourinho and Rice playing, or Mourinho and Zubamendi playing, or whatever. I don't want the three in there, right? Because I want one of those three to be creative. Yeah. One of those to make. To be up in play with Gyökeres, who's not going to be isolated, which he has done on every away game because we haven't had the midfield player going in there. We've scored goal after goal at home, right? If we even win that game, 1-0, 2-0, 4-0, right, with that three in midfield, we will not win the league with Mikel Arteta as manager.
Really?
Because I think at the end of the day...
if he decides to go with that midfield win 4-0, I'm happy.
No, I'll be happy, but I'll be happy. But I can tell you that late down the line, he'll go to Newcastle and drop points by playing that. He'll go to play against Liverpool at home or Man United at home and we'll drop points.
The thing is away from home, Lee, right? The sensible approach sometimes.
He used to do that, and I've got a problem with that.
But at home, I want to see us, right, against Man City. I know it's Man City. 2 years ago, I would have been completely fine. I'd be like, yeah, cool, man. Be sensible, it's City. I think we're a better team than City, right?
And that's what we've got to show, Rob. Yeah, that is what we've got to show.
And I think, right,
we are a better team. We're not
at home, right? Yeah, at home, right? I want to see us like, you know, I don't think... Yeah, but I think we got the tools.
I want Mikel to come out on Sunday, right, and go, that's it. There's my team. That's a little bit more attacking. We are good enough, strong enough to beat anybody at home. Like, I'm telling you, if you come there and go, oh, hold on a minute, I'm putting three holding midfield players and not playing creative, it tells me that you're not confident enough to go for it. And I don't mean go gunno, as we're saying. We've still got the stability of two holding midfield players in Zubamendi and Rice. Rice don't have to go that much forward. But at the end of the day, I want us chests out where we are here. We are going to win this league. I believe that we're going to win this league. Not we're going to make no mistakes and nick goals at home. Maybe away from home every now and then.
They're not free. We got Winston, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great fix, Lee. Get him in the changing rooms at half time.
No, have you seen when he's been in the change rooms before?
Yeah. I'll see you, yes. Half time in the change
He's right.
He's right. No, he's right.
There is times to defend and be a little bit cautious. There's times, like, you know, maybe even Newcastle. I'm not with it, like, you know what I mean? But at home, Emirates, 60,000 fans, you go there and you put down a marker.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
I would have judged, man.
They're not free.
I would have judged.
Free DMs, are they? Superman.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They haven't got that. They're not that creative one that's going to turn on.
None of those three have go past those three players.
What did they create? What have they created against Liverpool? Nothing. What have they created against?
But when they took Mourinho off against Liverpool, that's where
I'm not saying
in the midfield a little bit. I understand what you're saying, and listen. You guys know I'm always.
You still ain't give us your midfield. You've gone for that midfield, didn't you?
Yeah, listen, I get the Ranieri thing. I like the strength that it gives us. I like, having a solid team that's tough to break down, where, is everything. Like we said,
it's never got us over the line.
we ain't had this depth. This team's different. When you're talking about players like
Finishers.
Eze, we've got finishers to come on. This. Don't forget as well, this game at the Emirates last season, right? The 5-1. When was that one? That was one in the latter stages of the game.
Later on in the game.
It was later on in the game. What it is just the sensibility of, you're coming to the Emirates, you're getting it, and that's what we all do, right? But the team, you have also got to be sensible. You don't want to be conceding goals early against Man City.
I get that, but you've got, Marty, you've got a back four of defenders. You've got 2 defenders in there, that's 6.
I know, but if you leave them,
so you want 7 or 8. You're not going to leave them exposed. You ain't going to leave them exposed, are you?
Well, they won't. They won't.
I'll tell you what, let's not play Gyökeres then. Let's not play him because he's going to get live today.
No, you need.
Where's he going to get? Where's he going to get the service from?
Eze, you got Madueke. You've got Marino. You've got Rice. Listen, these are box to box guys that move it around.
I'll be fuming, if he does that.
I can tell.
I will, because it'd tell me everything he needs to. I'm not. And I think that he will. If I be honest, I think that he will.
Marino.
I think that he'll play that for it. If you're a betting man, I think that he will. And
I'm Lee. I'm with you, right? I want to see. Like either Ranieri, Odegaard. Even if you remember it.
Robert, I also, when I go to Arsenal, I also want to be entertained as well. I don't want to see the best teams coming down and us putting in a defensive. I want to see us going and winning game. Let's take it to them.
You could put Eze in there as well in that number 10. Yeah, Eze, remember
that. If remember as well, because Eze is his agent.
Remember as well, Eze, right? Eze tends to terrorise City.
Yes.
He had a great record against City.
And what, Martinelli on the left, is that what you do?
But
then you could bring Trossard on for Martinelli, because Trossard does naturally, Trossard does well late when he comes on late.
I'm playing Eze. Eze played for
Eze.
I might play him on the left.
Playing Eze on that left.
I am.
And I'm saying Eze.
I get the Ranieri thing. I really do get the Ranieri thing.
I'm not saying Ranieri. I'm saying that Odegaard is fit, and I wouldn't be against. And it's a very harsh on Ranieri, and put Eze in there. I wouldn't be against that.
Would you put on the left then?
Yeah, this is Martinelli.
Could do. He's just scored and assisted.
Yeah, I'll put Marino out there. They'll get Mark gets his own way then, doesn't he?
And if Martinelli's not working out, then you can bring Trossard on. On the left-hand side after 60 minutes, and we know that works, and that's an option. I think that, I'd like to see Eze tried inside a little bit more to sort of settle this debate, and he does historically do very well against City. I'm not opposed to seeing Ranieri in there. I think he's been fantastic when he's come on for us, but I just, listen.
Right, give me your team, Marty.
All right, what? Starting in goal. Raya in goal. I've got to start with Calafiori. I think he's been fantastic, earned his position. Gabriel at the back, obviously. I'm going to go with Mosquera just because I rate you. I don't think he's put a foot wrong. Okay. I think he's earned his place. That's how I see it. I'm not saying he's better than Saliba. I really rate Saliba. I don't know the full extent of the injury. Timber, that is just given hands down. Right, Zubimendi in the 6, and then I would start the game with Rice and Marino both as 8s, and then obviously on the right I'd have Madueke, left I'd have Eze, and then up front I'd have Gyökeres. Now if things aren't working out after 60 minutes,
all right, if things aren't working out, right, Lee.
Well, I'm playing now with Marty. I'm playing Saliba at centre forward. He used to play there, right? But you Ben in the right, and the new guy at left side, This protects everything, And in the last 5 minutes, we put all the forwards.
So you're going to play Kepa and Raya in goal together, yeah?
Bro, what are you doing there?
I'm going with the same back four. The only change that I'm making is that if Odegaard's 100% fit, Odegaard.
Yes.
If not, Ranieri.
Yeah, I'm going
Ranieri from Marino, the same three up top.
Yeah, I'm going. As I said, I'm bringing Saliba back.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he plays Marino up top in this game. But
instead of Gyökeres?
Yeah.
No. Listen,
that's if he's recovered.
This is the head injury.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, it's got to be.
You like to keep a little bit more possession.
No, it's got to be Gyökeres. Gyökeres Marino sit out on the bench for this one. Wanyeri or Odegaard starts for me. You definitely got to have Eze. He's got a great record. Or, I'm not against your shout as well, putting Eze in at the sort of 10 and playing Martinelli. His confidence is up, scored and assisted, and actually I think he's always done all right against City as well.
Scored a winner 2 seasons ago.
And his pace will trouble him. So, Martinelli, now that, that would have given him a lot of confidence the other night. So, wouldn't be a surprise if he started that game.
It'd be a little bit harsh on Wanyeri if that wouldn't go.
But I'd love to see, I'm with Lee. Like, we got enough protective, sensible players in that team. You're coming to the Emirates City. This is where we can make a bit of a statement.
Yeah, be brave, Mikel.
And I know last year we battered them, but I'm on about, like, if we could do it again, not batter them, but if we could have another commanding performance against them, what it does say, this says that, listen, Arsenal serious this year. Yeah, all right. The game against Liverpool, free kick, but this one, they're serious. Look at this squad. They even got their main guys fully and this is what they're doing. So, and City are there. They're a bit vulnerable at the moment. We've seen it already this season. I've ever watched their games, man. The defending of City has not been what we've seen over the years when they've been really strong in defence with, your Akanjis and Akes, and they've had that. Ake's been. I think Timber's taken that crown off. Ake used to be like that.
100.
Where you just can't get put. You give Saka a hard time in many games and that. I've just not seen that with them this season. They look vulnerable at the back. They have. It's a team a bit in transition.
And you can go.
Let's go and get a win over them, right? Let's, and then you set yourself in good stead ahead of that game against Newcastle next weekend.
100%.
And if we can get something out, get a win against City, then go and get something at Newcastle. That, before the next international break, all of a sudden, it's been a great start for Arsenal. That's why you look on it. It would have been a great, because remember, we looked at that draw at first. Liverpool away, City in there, going away to Newcastle, United away first game. We thought, that ain't easy. But if we can come out of this, and City, no disrespect, because they've been champions after champions, treble winners. They've done it all. But this season, what I've seen at the moment, they can be beaten. Arsenal got to, I want to see like United last week where it's just like, and even United at times were sort of, getting in behind them and stuff like that. Come on, Arsenal, man. We can win this game.
Come on.
Yeah, we get your prediction, Marty, for this game.
0-0.
1-0 City. No, 3-1 Arsenal.
1-0.
Despite all that attacking stuff, you just say on 1-0.
And well, you just putting Dalman in the 6 and all of that, and start playing all these attacking players.
I think it'd be an attack, hopefully an attacking open game, and saves and all that. But it could be more. But I think, hang on. What I want and what Mikel's going to do are two different things in my thought. I think he's going to go with what Marty's saying. All right, and it's going to be a cautious, going like, I'm
going to go Marty's 3-1. I actually see.
Okay, sorry, can I just say,
I'm going 3-1.
If we go with your Wanyeri in the middle, your team.
2-0.
2-0.
But I don't think you asked for my prediction. You're telling me like
no. But if we go with your team, you're right. This is what I'm saying. So if we go with your team that you said, do you reckon that's?
I reckon 2-0. I think that 2-0, 3-0. I think we could be a real.
I do also.
I think I could open them up. What Spurs rip them apart?
True.
Rip them apart. I actually looked at that game. I looked at that game and I said, well, this Man City team, are they that bad or are Tottenham that good? I want us to be doing that. I want us to be saying.
But hold on. What did Tottenham? They did play with 3 holding midfielders that game. They did, didn't they? Yeah, but why? They had 3 holding midfielders.
Yeah, but they got forward. Yeah, I don't. But I don't do that, like, you know what I mean, like. But listen, Brighton they tired against Brighton. I think like that would be the thing of all their like, you know. Listen. What I think I believe. I think Mikel will go down. That's what he needs to convince me, Mikel, that you know you're going to be what. We are there, Robbie, right? We are there. We're so close to being... But what is it going to take to get us over the line? And what I believe is going to get us over the line is him being braver. Because I've seen him being cautious over the last season and it's done us... We haven't done it. Be that little... Get us over the line. I believe that Mikel can do it if he was just... But I don't know. This is why I'll be sitting there Sunday, very interested in his team selection.
How will you feel if he changes, swaps Gyökeres for Norgard as well?
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Kepa come on the
Anyway, listen, guys, make sure you check it out on Sunday. We've got a big watch along for the game. It's going to be taking place at the Box Park, right? It's a massive game. Arsenal taking on Manchester City. It's going to be huge. Of course, we'll be at the game and we'll be speaking to the fans afterwards. You won't miss a thing if you keep it locked here on AFTV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you very, very much.
Enjoyed that.
Also, would love to see your predictions. 2 things in the comments. Number 1, your starting 11. Would love to hear from you guys. Do you go with Mosquera or do you go with Saliba? And what do you do in that midfield? What's your midfield 3? Just focus on those 2 positions, actually. Want to hear from you in the comments. And also, give us your score predictions for the match. Thanks for watching. Big up to Kenya Airways, for sponsoring this video. And thanks to you two once again. And to you guys for faithfully following the show. And we'll see you again next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.